Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Newsbeat presented to you by Ladies Like. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. Women are the backbone of any society, and yet in any political arena, they still face gender inequality. Ever since Sirmavo Bandaranaike of Sri Lanka became the first elected female leader in 1960, there have only been 70 female prime ministers and presidents in over half a century. Although women account for only 22% of global legislators in parliament, they are increasingly being elected in influential positions of the government. As many countries have introduced a quota system to address the gender imbalance, which is a mechanism by which government increases women representation in institutions of governance, many countries have also mandated political parties to exercise gender parity. Like Tanzania, which requires for women to get 20% of the parliamentary seats won by the political party. The biggest number of women parliamentarians is still in the European continent, but Africa now has 4 of the top 10 countries with the highest percentage of women in parliament. Rwanda has the world's largest percentage of women parliamentary representation, with women occupying almost 64% of the seats in the country's House of Legislation. Seychelles, Senegal and South Africa are also in the top 10 on the list, as Senegal is the only Muslim country with such a high number of elected women in politics. Although many Arab countries usually reserve political seats on religious or ethnic basis, many have started including women, which has encouraged them to run for political office. In India, 33% of the seats in locally elected body are reserved for women candidates, which has contributed to the election of millions of women in the local council on the subcontinent. Research shows that women play a crucial role once elected on the local governments, because they tend to champion social issues for their community's advancement and have the collective power to reach those in need of support and empowerment, as witnessed with the success of women's grassroots empowerment movements. From bread selling on the streets to international media channels, Olajumuke's story is one of those to be told. Our reporter MC Loy is here with the details.
The Nigerian public is still in a state of euphoria ever since a bread hawker kickstarted her modeling career after accidentally stumbling on a pop star shoot in February this year. To go from obscurity to the most googled person in Nigeria, Olajumoke Origasuna left her home state of Osun as a trained hairstylist and headed for Lagos to sell the popular Igege bread on the streets. One fateful day, she accidentally photobombed a shoot by T.Y. Bello, a famous photographer who was shooting an international rapper called Tini Tempa. The photograph of the rapper and the bread seller then went viral as the public kept on asking who the girl was and saying she would make a lovely model. And their request was finally granted by T.Y. Bello. The artistic photographer became Olajumoke's mentor and promoter, and in a short while, 2 companies, Stanbic IBTC and Pepot, made her their brand ambassador. Stanbic even awarded scholarships to the 2 daughters of the newly found model to take care of their education up to university level. She has given interviews on CNN and other international media channels and graced the covers of many magazines in chic clothes with designer logos. A construction company also gave her a luxury apartment in Lagos. However, many people have advised her to get some form of education to avoid being taken advantage of through extension. Consequently, Olajumoke has joined Boys Finishing School to pursue her education and is now taking courses in English grammar and communication. The 27-year-old mother of 2 has been called Nigeria's Cinderella, as one accident opportunity has changed her life forever. I'm MC Loy, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, MC Loy, for that report. Google has a plan to train hundreds of people on the African continent. Our reporter Jess Sentino is here with a full report.
The internet is booming, but Africa is still trailing. So Google, the tech giant, has a plan for the continent. It will train 1 million young Africans in digital skills over the next 12 months. Google will train 300,000 people in South Africa, 400,000 people in Nigeria, and another 200,000 in Kenya, along with an online platform called Digify Africa, where all courses are offered for free. 9 courses are now available, but the total should soon be 50. Courses include building online presence, social media, and application development. The program gave Google a lot of good publicity, while still under the heavy public scrutiny, along with Facebook, Apple, and other tech giants for abnormally low tax payments. Most of their profits are made through offshore companies, and so they have many to spare, to show the world how much they really care about Africans and their future market of share. I'm Jay Sentino, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, Jess Sentino, for that report. Mosaic art is an important part of Northern Africa's artistic heritage that was at risk of being lost in Tunisia until two men revived the knowledge. A mosaic is made of tasarai, which are small tiles that are constructed to an intricate design. It takes patience to create and requires talent, but as a high-end product, artisans have very few clients. So many artisans change fields to make income. As they leave the practice, they don't pass the information to making mosaics from generation to generation. Amani Drawoy and Zayid Abbas are taking different directions to preserving the tradition and teaching people how to make mosaics. Together they create the Mosaic Kit, which provides all basics to make a small mosaic, including tiles that make it artistic. Drawoy and Abbas are not artists by trade, they're just people creating positive change. Drawoy owns an ecological farm that educates visitors about traditional agriculture techniques in Tunisia. Abbas is a trained engineer who started an art platform that connects clients and mosaic artisans. After a successful run and winning a few competitions, he and his sister started Neptune Mosaic, a company that helps artisans to sell their work and revive the industry. Mosaic art was the next step for Drawoy and Abbas to pass on the traditional knowledge to the general public. The kit is an educational and creative activity for children, but adults too can also benefit by improving their concentration. Not only has the kit helped revive the important tradition, it has given jobs to artisans around the nation. That was the news of the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still ladies like, reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Yes, follow the beat.